Slasher is definitely a killer in Taken. That's the most you can really say about him. His kit is like completely just basically designed and basically designed around for new players. There's not much else to say about him, but you know, this video would exist if that was entirely true. Slasher, well, he's not good at all. Slasher's M1 is probably like honestly his best move due to it doing 27 damage and piercing through multiple targets, along with his run speed supplementing it pretty nicely well. Because if you have a fast killer, well, their M1 is going to be naturally easier to hit. His second move, Behead, on the other hand, it's honestly more hurtful than helpful to Slasher. Like, you see a lot of the new players just using the Behead move as like in chase to try to track on some extra damage, but this doesn't help them in the long run. Like, all it does is makes them lose distance. While they do get the extra 20 damage, they're better off just like M1ing in like 90% of the scenarios. Like, it's good for finishing off a survivor when they're close to LMS, or you just want to go to the next person more quick. But other than those, like, that literally one use case, the head is just kind of like donkey. Oh, it's also the fact that he can like tap turrets with Raging Mace bad, but I'll talk about that later. Raging Behead, well, I can talk about Raging Mace Behead now. Raging Mace Behead is like an alright move. Does a solid 35 damage, which like is a very significant amount, albeit only 8 more than his regular M1. So it's not as impactful as some people would like lead you to believe, but it is a solid move actually. Gashing Wound. Well, Gashing Wound is a punishing move. It's just evaporates any sentinel who missed their stun, dealing like a whole half of their health bar, depending on who they're playing, doing a whole 50 damage. And not to mention, if he managed to predict you with a Raging Face, you're taking a whole 70, which if you're not really like just starting Chase, you're probably dead to it, I'll be honest. So, Gashing Wound, honestly, not a completely horrid move. It's strong, it's got kill power, it does a lot of damage. The problem is, its wind-up is like atrociously long. Like, it's a 0.5 second wind-up if I remember correctly. And that's enough for a guest block, for like a sentinel to have the extra time they need to like get their sword out and stun you. It's just like all around just like a really long and tedious windup you have to go through, and it likely is the reason why the move isn't like super broken, super meta, super oh my god, Jason's uncounterable. It's more of like a solid, decent move that can be used to rack on some damage really fast if Sentinel misses her stun or a support it does a misstep and has some less stamina than you. It also gives Jason the stamina advantage, which is like such a nice thing to have. It usually like secures a 1k on squishier supports that don't have the rush hour, or like Scar, for example. If you find a dude like lacking, Gashing Wound them, they're most likely just completely dead to you in your chase. You can still have Raging Pace in your pocket. And speaking of Raging Pace, this is probably like the second best killer move in the entire game, just behind Corrupt Energy. It like is just completely game changing for Jason. If Jason didn't have Raging Pace, he would genuinely be completely useless, and I like fully believe that. Raging Pace effectively gives him a second stamina bar, which is like I don't need to explain why that's so good. It allows him to catch up much easier. It allows him to negate a lot of distance. It's a free LMS winner. It buffs all his moves and also gives his M1 a lunge. Like the only bad part about Raging Pace, I would like, even if it's a bit of a stretch, is the lunge does get hit by a Shaletsky sorcerer. Like if you M1 lunge toward a Shaletsky, they can just slash you for free. And also, it's more reactive with Ghast if you do the lunge. But other than those like 2 examples, Raging Pace, S tier move, one of the best moves in the entire game. Honestly, I heard they're gonna like revamp or rework it to be like more of like a snowball type move in the Guess 6.6 update. And obviously, I'm not a prophet. I can't see the future, but I'll be excited to see how they work when it comes out. Let's go on to Cool Kid. Cool Kid, his M1 is just like probably honestly the weakest M1 in the game, despite its really good property of having a 0.1 second windup. Its hitbox just like really wimpy and small compared to the other killer's hitboxes. And yeah, it's not like a Mandela effect or anything. It's actually just like physically smaller than other killers. Cool Kid's walk speed does help negate this a tiny bit, but it's like nothing. It's almost like nothing compared to Jason's M1. Cool Kid's corrupt nature. Well, it's just an okay move. It's like not good, it's not bad. It's just like mid, I would say. Because it does... Alright, don't get me wrong. It's actually a solid move compared to like... compared to like a solo survivor chase. But... it also just like only gives you like a M1, usually. Unless you already have a stamina advantage, when it just pushes your advantage even further. It's also solid for like mix-ups on guests who are expecting your M1 and try to block it, and you just corrupt nature it to give them slowness. It's solid for that as well. It's just overall just like not like how does it say? It's like not that good is how I would put it. Because corrupt nature, well, because every M1 you could also just M1. So it's basically just an extra 15 damage. It's just not nothing. It probably puts under a couple important thresholds. Like, maybe you can like 2-tap Elliot or something. I don't know. I don't have a spreadsheet in front of me right now. But it's 50 damage is not nothing to a lot of characters. But overall, it's not gonna like do like it's not a raging pace. It's not gonna win the game for you. Speaking of like what like the main central design around characters, Cool Kid's walk speed override. This move used to be cancer. We used to call him Mr. 7 Frame, I believe, where he would wind up and instantly go forward with the hitbox, and that was honestly just kind of doo-doo bot to play against. But since its recent rework, well, not too recent, it's been like a couple months, but since its rework, yeah, it's a much longer wind-up, I believe a 0.7 wind-up, and he goes absolutely flying. This move is actually not bad at all. It can give you a lot of distance if you hit an object into a survivor. It can just like destroy survivors who are in front of you if they get caught off guard or are caught lacking their stamina management. It's just like, it's a solid move. It does a lot. 45 damage, 30 with the initial hit, 50 with the burning. And it just like usually just like absolutely evaporates sentinels, similar to Jason's gashing wound if they miss a stun. But the downsides of this move are much more prevalent than a gashing wound. Well, for example, if Cool Kid is next to a ledge and walk speed overrides a survivor off a ledge, they get sent flying across the entire map, which is, you know, not what you want as a mostly melee killer. It also just completely folds to Guest 1337, because Guest's entire gimmick is if he blocks a dangerous move, like an M1 or a Void Rush or etc., he gets his punch, right? But walk speed override having a 0.7 windup gives Guest about 3 years to react to it. So if that block isn't off cooldown, you basically can't use walk speed override. It's definitely like a really interesting setup to just like have one of your most important moves in your entire moveset just becoming effectively useless due to one character being in a match. I'd argue that like just Guest's existence moves Cool Kid at least like a tier down the tier list. Then we have Cool Kid's final move, Minions. Probably, like, honestly, I want to say the most unique move in the entire game. It's like, the only thing close to it is 1x Minions, and that's like a whole nother spiel. But Cool Kid's Minions, or Pizza Delivery it's called in game, has like a 50-second cooldown, a lifespan about 30, like give or take a couple seconds. So they're like, if you can get them up without losing stamina or distance, they're like really nice pressure for most of the match, which will either force like a guest or noob to tank it, or force someone distracted and not help the team anymore. It's like really effective, honestly. They don't do a lot of damage by themselves, only having like I believe a 15 on hit and maybe like 5 burn damage. I honestly forget how much they exactly do, but the point is it's not a lot. And but even though they don't do a whole lot by themselves, their main like draw is they give you slowness and also highlight you to Cool Kid if they land on you. So if you're near a Cool Kid and get hit by 2 minions, or 1 minion really, you're pretty much guaranteed to take an M1 or 2 due to like, you know, you're slow. So they're actually like really nice pressure, and the fact that their AI pathing screws up sometimes, it can hurt Cool Kid and bring him down a couple pegs. But overall, it's just like, it's a solid move. It's not overpowered. It's not like horrible. It's just like, it's kind of like Corrupt Nature, but I'd say a little bit better. John Doe. I would say he's the best hero in the game right now. His moveset, every ability has a thing attached to it. That just makes him just like a bit overwhelming, I want to say. So his first ability, Corrupt Energy, which I think is just like straight up the best ability in the game. He shoots out a bunch of spikes, 26 I think to be exact, or 27. They changed it by a little bit. I don't remember exactly how much it is. But anyways, the point is, it can be used both as a damage tool and a zoning tool. And if you know anything about ASIM games, zoning is really powerful because it makes them either break the loop or die. Corrupt Energy has just so many use cases, so many spots, so many like texts you can do with it that I can't even put it into words how like advanced this move can be. But all you really can even know is use it when the survivor, if the survivors like can get cornered by it, and you pretty much have already killed them. That's how strong it is. Speaking of just killing them outright, I forgot to talk about his M1. John Doe's M1. It's solid. As 0.4 second wind up, tied for the slowest in the game, which is not good against gas, but we'll get to that later. It also does a solid 28 damage, and that's all it does. It's a very basic move. It's just like, it's an M1. There's no special properties attached to it aside from like there's just no special properties attached to it, and yeah, it's also the same side. It's a regular killer, etc., etc. Anyways, on to like more interesting things like digital footprint, which I would argue is like the third best move in the entire game. Digital footprint just literally just destroys a singular loop. If it like stuns John for about 5 seconds, but just destroys the entire loop. Like that loop is just gone effectively. Because if you step in it, you get 10 seconds of slowness, and John Doe gets 10 seconds of speed. You are dead. You are very dead. It's honestly a relatively basic move in the retrospective, but there's like multiple spots you can place it in. It requires a brain to use, is what I'm trying to get at. Like, you can't just mash them down and expect to win. It's also like very centralized into John's kit. If you're not using a digital footprint, you're not winning games as John Doe. It's just a rule. Because if you don't trap up like your most important loops so you can get looped around, you can't corrupt energy to get rid of them. If you're not digital putting those away, you're dead. like figuratively, of course, because you're probably not dying as John Doe of all things. But the point is, you've lost the match already. Like, that is your win condition as the killer. To set up your digital footprints, corrupt energy them, and win. 4 error, his indicator, or how I like to call it, his parry. I don't know exactly why. I understand for Corrupt Energy having an unstoppable passive, where if he gets stunned during the move, he gets speed. It's complicated. its speed is dependent by the number of sentinels, and it's like minimum of speed 1 for 5 seconds, I believe. The point is, unstoppable, it just means if you get stunned while you have the unstoppable, like pre-unstoppable active, you pretty much just gain distance on the survivor and stun you. It also has the thing where your max stun is 2.175 seconds, which is an oddly specific number in my opinion. But, yeah. So 404 parry has this unstoppable passive during its entire duration for some reason. This effectively just, like, makes Guest a coughing baby. Because Guest's whole thing is, I'm going to hit my block. I'm going to parry him after. This is the greatest plan. He will get stunned for 3.5 seconds. And then John Doe comes around. It's like, what if I just kind of, like, didn't get stunned for that long after mashing, if I mash R while after I M1 you, which you can just do, by the way. There's nothing you can do against that. So, overall, John Doe, best gun game ever, I'd say. Noli. I'll go by the release date. Alright. 1X. I hate him. I hate how he's designed. I don't hate how he looks. He looks kind of cool, honestly. But I hate how he's designed a lot. His M1, I'm pretty sure, I don't know why I don't know this, but it either applies glitched or poison. I forget which, but it does one of those, trust me. But it's the same thing as John's, tied for the slowest M1 in the game with a 0.4 second windup. Does 20 damage on hit, I believe, and applies poison to do the rest. That's what I'm forgetting. It's poison. But it's like a relatively simple M1, like kind of like John's. Mass Infection. It's after its nerf, it's honestly like pretty useless. At if you're not literally at a stamina advantage and using it up close, or to punish a missed block or something, it doesn't do anything. They can just dodge it from mid-range on reaction. There's no predicting, you just lose the 50-50 guaranteed if they're far enough. Which is definitely an idea for a killer ability, because if you're not, like, if the Guest isn't react blocking, and is also, like, I don't know, a little bit stupid in the head, and just blocks in front of you, and you mass infection, that's a lot of damage. I think it's like 65 to 70 damage they take for an up-close mass infection, which is interesting that the range really does more damage up close anyways. Point is that mass infection, it's a dumb baby move for dumb babies. It doesn't do anything in, like, decent to high-level play. If you just range 1X, it can't do anything. And now for 1X's effective raging base. It's Entanglement. I hate this move so much. Entanglement is like the worst designed move in Forsaken, like, by far. It's like, it moves so fast that you can't react to it, like, effectively in, like, close to mid-range. So you kind of just gotta, like, do I dodge or do I not dodge? That is the question. It's a 50-50 move, and if he hits it, he gains, like, a Herculean amount of distance on you, and also probably gets an M1 off, to be honest. It puts you in this, like, little stupid mini-game that I heard is getting removed, like, thank god. But, anyways, Entanglement, I hate it. It makes, it's too over-centralizing for 1X's kit, and it also is a dumb bad move for dumb bad people. And, 1X's third ability, or fourth if you count M1 as an ability for some reason, his eye move, for the thing where he rips out his eye. It gives just, like, stuns him for a second, indicates all the survivors, gives him speed 1 and blindness 3 for 7 seconds, I believe. Heard it's also getting reworked soon, but, like, it's like kinda a loop breaker sometimes. It's usually just the move you spam against newbies. That goes across the entire map with them for the memes. It honestly doesn't do, like, that much. It can be helpful in certain scenarios where you have them cornered and watch distance on them, or if you're, like, are in a loop and they're not moving at the other side of the loop, and you pop on a stable eye and you get some distance on them. Like, it has its use cases, don't get me wrong, but it's a pretty bad move in retrospective, since his use cases are like not exactly like the most prevalent thing in the entire game. Like, most times in Forsaken, people are either going to be looping or running out in the open. And running out in the open, it doesn't do anything. it only kinda does things on loops. It's overall, it's like the indicator move of the game. It doesn't do that much for 1X. And 1X's fourth ability is Rejuvenate the Rotten. I don't like it. I don't like its design at all. It's just like, I win the LMS button. It used to be even more of that before it got nerfed, but it's just basically, what it does at its core, spawns a minion for every person dead. That's what it does. With an exhaustingly long cooldown, might I add. I think it's like 3 minutes or 2 minutes for the cooldown, which is very, very high for an ability. Well, it is kind of fair, because it's his fourth one. Why does he have so many? The point is, it wins the LMS for 1X because there's just like 7 NPCs you have to either avoid or take 15 damage from, which is hard to say. Like, it's just basically dependent on, did your teammates die near the loop where you were trying to do LMS on? And if they did, you're pretty much fried, because that's like half your health bar gone. Now finally, Nore. He's, probably like the second best killer right now, I want to say. His M1 has the weirdest delay on it currently, with a 0.35. Yes, that's exactly how long it is. Not quite as long as John's or 1X's, but still like fairly long compared to Cool Kids or Jason's or stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Cool Kids line up is 0.1 and Jason's line up is 0.2. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, Nole's M1 only has one special thing it does, in that it removes his hallucination for some reason. I honestly don't get why the devs decided to make his M1 remove the hallucination, because that's like a really strong, like, it's 1X, it's not 1X, it's Nole's whole shtick to like apply hallucination, try to trick the survivors, and like jump when they're not expecting. That's his like intended design, I feel. And I don't get why his M1, like, ability or move that using like 90% of the game, is like directly countering to that. It's just like really confusing design to me. Anyways, it does 25 damage, which is honestly a solid number. It doesn't need a buff or anything. It doesn't need a nerf either. Kind of similar, it's just a bomb killer. And his first ability, Void Rush. It's how did one say? It's good. It's a good move. It can give you like cross-map distance, it can like reach around corners and stuff to try to get survivors that are around corners, slide along the wall. And it has a chaining mechanic that can do, like, I'm pretty sure theoretically infinite damage. Anyways, like, Void Rush, if you catch someone lacking, they die. They are dead. Like, Survivor makes a misplay, they die. They die to Void Rush. Like, that's it. Game's over, go home. Then we have Nova. Another, like, pretty solid move. I'd say it's Nole's best move in this kit, to be honest. Even though Void Rush is extremely punishing. Nova, it throws a projectile kind of similar to Cool Kid, and you can detonate it pressing the E again to just pull in any survivors next to it. It also auto detonates if it hits anything as well, which is nice to know, I suppose. I want to say its main use case is to like pull survivors up, and then they get staggered by them falling and taking the full stagger, and you get them. I'd say that's its main use case, but it can also be used to like drag people like around corners and stuff, or just like to stop people from moving for a sec. It only does 15 damage, kind of like Corrupt Nature, Cool Kid Projectile, but it does a lot more pullage and distance gain than Corrupt Nature could like ever do. There's also certain use cases where you can like pull them off ledges to get them closer to you on certain spots and stuff like that. It's a very like dynamic move, I want to say, and that's what makes it like so strong. If you like predict the survivor correctly, they are most likely going to get M1 as well. which is like 40 damage, which is like definitely nothing to scoff at. If dashing wound is considered extremely punishing, and it only does 50. Observant. This is I apply hallucination and I teleport to a generator move. It's probably the most unique quote-unquote indicator to in the game. Well, it does indicate that the survivor is because they got hallucination from it. It also just teleports Noli himself, which is an interesting concept to have a teleport in the game. But it has this long startup, a lot of end lag, so it really doesn't, even though it's literally just Noli teleporting across the entire map sometimes, it's not as overpowered as it might seem. It's still a very solid move. I'd argue the best indicator in the game. Maybe a little less better than John's because of the parry mechanic. But it is still very good because it applies noise hallucination, which can like completely break up teams and stuff. It's honestly pretty crazy how much hallucination can do for you, just like passively. By just like doing passive gen denial because the like clones smacking off the gens, or even if they're just a little bit stupid enough, wasting some stuns on a clone so you don't have to deal with them anymore. It's a very like just it's great for distance in certain scenarios too. Like if you see a survivor like walking next to a gen, TP to the gen, you restart chase, and you probably gain some stamina back. If you're in a bad situation, it's not bad at all to do that. So overall, it's actually like one of Noli's like really good moves. It has a passive effect and it moves you around. So overall, solid. Now let's talk about the survivors next. First of all, we got Noob. He's the character. He was the only one free for like a very long time until they made Schletzkin free as well. But his moveset is simple like he is. He has a Bloxy Cola, which has about like 2-second windup that you're slowed during the duration of, and then you get Speed 1 for 10 seconds. This is honestly like very solid. It's nothing to scoff at whatsoever. Like 10 seconds of Speed 1, while it is only a 10% speed boost, that's enough to like outrun John Doe, if I remember correctly, which is pretty insane to me. It can be used as like at the end of a loop when you see a killer coming, or yeah, I'd say that's its main use case because you can't use that for Slate Skin. You can do this wasteful. Yeah, let's talk about Slate Skin now. Slate Skin is it's bad. It's a bad move. It's poo poo. I don't like it. I don't like Slate Skin. Like the only thing it really has going for is like extending your chase by like up to 7 seconds, I believe, if you're about to die. Like if you know you're dead, might as well pop it to try to like squeeze out a little bit more time. And you might be thinking, can't you just like use it kind of like a Bloxy Cola and like get the killer to like mess up on you and like waste their abilities, or just like burn time and get away with the speed 2? You would think that, but actually, stalling before you're like looping in a chase or getting distance is extremely inefficient. Just gives up a bunch of distance and overall gets you killed more than it actually helps you. Like for example, if Slasher is like you're at the end of the prize loop corner, Slasher's coming, you pop Slate Skin, he comes up, beheads you, then gashing wounds you, you take 40 damage, give or take. That's that's the average interaction with Slate Skin. It's just like, it's the chase extender, kinda. Like, you can still just die during the startup of it, so it's like not guaranteed, but it can help sometimes. You're usually better off just running, though. Then we have Ghost Burger, Noob's third ability, because he gets 3, because it's a special little boy. Ghost Burger, it's like, it rarely gets like used properly. Like, its main usage, just get X thing off you. Whether that be the killer who's blind is 1X, or a minion who like that's 1X, or a cool kid. It's just the go away move. It doesn't work against like killers who have eyes if you're trying to Ghost Burger to get them away from you, because it only gives you invisibility 3 or 4, I believe, which is not enough to make you fully intangible. It's like, it's bad. It's like not good, but like you would rather have it than not to have it, is what I'm trying to get at. It's not a nothing burger, pun intended, but it's not the most commonly thrown out move in the game by far. And let's move on to Shed next. Slutsky is probably the most beginner-friendly character in this entire game. He's a basic. What else can I say? He got 2 abilities. First one, a forward swing, where he just reaches back, slashes forward with his sword, and stuns the killer for 3 seconds. It's a solid stun. Can be used for some mix-ups sometimes. It's just a good move, I would say, in my opinion. Like, if you're chasing a survivor, and Slutsky's next to them, you're like, oh, I should be more careful because there's Slutsky there. I don't want to get slashed. And that passive pressure is probably way more worth it than the actual sword slash ever will be. Like, a good stun can get more distance, but the killer will probably just chase reset eventually. So it might as well just be like a good pressure tool is what I would like to describe Slutsky's sword swing as. Slutsky also has his chicken, which is a very long animation for eating a single piece of chicken in video games. But the point is, it heals Slutsky 40 HP over a couple seconds, which is healing in any ASIM is always going to be super duper busted. That's what I have to say about it. Because even though it had a long ass fight up, if you drop Chase with Slutsky for like a second, he's going to be at least like 1 or 2 M1s more than you left him. And that's a really powerful trait to have, especially when you have an important role such as a Sentinel, not a Survivalist. It's a very like strong heal, to be honest. I don't know why it's 40 HP for a move that's just if you drop Chase, it heals. It's fine. Alright, let's move on to Elliot next. I hate this character. I know most compies will be like, oh, this is obvious, but for the little pub players who may or may not be watching this, Elliot is super overpowered. His moveset is just by far the best in the game, and he's skillless. He's just so easy to play, it's crazy. Let's go over Pizza Toss. It's effectively just like the support version of Slutsky's chicken. You throw a pizza slice, its HP, the amount it heals can be like determined by certain factors, such as like how many Elliots there are, how many generators are done, and things such along those lines. But overall, there's like an estimate of around 40 HP it heals, alright? That is on a 45-second cooldown. And if you think a little bit about the process of Forsaken, let's think, what last time you went against a solid player, how many times no, let's pretend you want a solid player and everyone around you is a solid player. You hit M1s like not that often. People are spacing properly, people are like pathing correctly. If they're not getting caught off guard, they're usually not taking that much damage. Let's just say that. So if you have a move that undoes a large amount of work of yours that has no risk attached to it itself and is pretty much like frame one, it tends to be not the most balanced, especially when you don't have to put yourself in danger to heal your targets, which is very, very important for healing moves in ASIM games. And that's not even the worst part of it, because you think, oh, that's easy, I just go for Elliot, because then he can't heal anymore. Well, here comes in his second ability. The best, probably the best move in the entire game, to be honest. The Rush Hour. I see a lot of public players underestimating this move because they just run in circles and die. But Rush Hour is speed 3 for like, I believe 2 or 3 seconds, which is honestly broken. I don't know how this got past testing because it gives you like an insane amount of distance on the killer with a single press of the button. And it would be balanced if it had a long cooldown, but it has a 45-second cooldown, I believe. Or I believe a 60-second cooldown, which all you need to do to refill it is heal someone one time, which is extremely easy to do, unless you're literally the only person they've hit. Unless you're literally the only person they've hit the entire round, which is honestly just unrealistic. Overall, Elliot, super overpowered. I hate that character. I wish if the game would be much better if he just was completely deleted. Let's talk about 7 and 7 next. Get the survivalist out of the way. 7 and 7 is dog shit. sorry for my friends, but he is the worst character in this game by far, and it's not his fault. That's the worst part. His moveset is just too balanced to this unbalanced game. Like, you've got killers zooming around the entire map with a void rush, like killing people in mere seconds with a raging face gash and wound. And you got killers who can trap you and one you thrice for making a singular mistake, dealing up to like 90 damage. And you got 7 and 7 who can like throw out a clone and make himself kind of invisible. It's just extremely underwhelming compared to like anything else in the game. He's a balanced character in an unbalanced game. Let's just go over what he can do anyways. So his Corona and Inject, which I'm just going to group into one move because they are directly attached to each other, can just send out a fake 7 and 7 that can sponge damage to his teammates. Its intended use case is to trick the killer into thinking you're the faked one, but it's just so painfully obvious whether 7 and 7 is fake or not. It hardly works against any killer who's played the game for longer than 30 minutes. Clone is just a body block tool. It's not bad at what it does for body blocking, but against certain killers, Slasher, it's effectively completely useless, because their piercing M1 tends to ignore body blocking things. It can also it has like extremely niche use cases like tanking a gashing wound, like body blocking a killer and pushing them back slightly, and moving them while they're stunned very slightly. But other than these like niche use cases of body blocking, it doesn't do a whole lot for 7 and 7. Inject is just a thing that you use to change how it moves. It's like basically you pick cursor to body block and that's about it. And then we have cool GUI. When you hear the word Survivor Cross-Map Teleport, you probably think, what? You probably think, how is this balanced? And then you add the 7-second wind-up it has, and then things start to click into place. Cool GUI is just, You're only gonna ever get it off when you're not in danger, and you don't really need to teleport across the entire map if you're not in danger, to be honest. Like, it's pretty useless, honestly. You can use it to, like, slightly increase how fast you do generators on certain map, but if you're sweating that hard for generators, just go play, like, Shine or something. You level up a different character. 7 is not worth it. And who next? Let's do Deuce, because he's a solid support. I like him. Deuce is probably, like, one of the more well-designed supports, I want to say. He's very, very good. But he's also not overpowered, nor does he feel directly unfair. His Plasma Beam is a ranged move that has, like, 13 years of wind up. So you can definitely see it coming if you don't feel like it's not your fault, like some things in this game. Valley Pizza. feel like. Like, it's your fault if you get hit by it. And I do agree that hitting the Survivor can feel just like you lose all the distance, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's on both on the Deuce car and the player to be coordinated for that to happen in the first place. So I think it's fair to give the Survivor a little bit of a reward. Deuce car's other ability, his Plasma Shield, I believe it's called. It's a very solid ability. If you see a guest miss a block, if you see a Sentinel with a stun, if you see someone really close to a killer, pop it and they take reduced damage for a whole 4 seconds. It's not as good as its glory days where it used to do for an F of 10, but it's still a very solid move that can deny a lot of damage and a lot of pressure on the killer. Not to mention it has its interesting use cases of denying burn damage against School Kid, which is not completely unpractical, but it's not. You won't see it often used to its fullest potential, or even a potential, because it's just so niche. Who next? Let's talk about Builderman. Let's get all the supports out of the way. So Builderman is he's very good. He's a very, very, very solid character. I want to say like better than any Sentinel, because his whole shtick is he places down buildings to take a long time to set up, but if he gets him down, the reward you get to him is, like, actually kind of bonkers. Like, you can't look at me and tell me that a move that just, like, resets a chase every 40 seconds is absolutely diabolical. Like, I believe Builderman should probably get a nerf to his cooldowns, honestly. His Sentry has a 40-second cooldown. You smack it down after like a lengthy, like 10-second animation, give or take a couple seconds. And then it just kind of sits there, and when the killer gets near, it applies slowness to them for as long as it's shooting at it. Very, very good ability. The only thing it requires is a somewhat consistent team, and you to, like, not place it on the killer. Or near the killer, I mean. But, like, you know, not being able to use it, like, anytime you want. It's a very, very good ability that requires, like, a minimum amount of skill to actually use. And we have the Dispenser. Honestly, it is the more underwhelming move between the two of its abilities, but it's still... don't underestimate Dispenser, I mean. Like, its healing it can provide if you leave characters alone for too long can effectively lose you the game in a lot of scenarios. Like, 50 HP on a character who hasn't been in chase for a while, that's 2 M1s on most killers. Like, that's damage you won't ever get back sometimes. It's very solid. It does take some certain characters out of the game and takes them away from objectives that could be doing just, you know, stalling the killer or you, or doing generators to decrease the timer, but generally it's more worthwhile to heal up rather than do a generator, I've found, because you have a whole team doing generators as well. Anyways, on to the next one, the last support, which is Tap. Tap is, he's okay. It's not the best thing in the world, but he's definitely a very solid character. His subspace trip mine, let's talk about subspace trip mine. I don't like how it's designed all too well, because, well, it does give a pretty underwhelming effect of helpless for 5 seconds, which just killer can't deal damage for 5 seconds, effectively. It can hit you through walls, which is... I don't like it. Hitting through walls is, like, always gonna be bad, usually, in any game that's introduced. Like, Forsaken itself, they removed wall bangs not too long ago due to it feeling super unfair. So, it being able to hit through walls and apply an effect that's, like, okay, I guess, but, like, still annoying, is just not very fun to play against, especially because certain spots it can't be hit at all. Like, you just kind of gotta hit it with a ranged move or tank it. Then we have Tripwire, the more balanced move of the two. It's basically just, if you don't M1 it before walking through it, you get slowed you get a large amount of slowness for like 5 seconds or so. The slowness is not nothing, it gives a lot of distance, to be honest, but if you're getting hit by a Tripwire, that is just your fault. Like, there's certain spots where you can place it in darkness and make it slightly harder to see, but overall, you shouldn't be getting hit by a Tripwire if you're paying attention. Let's go on to the Sentinels. Shadetsky. Shadetsky is... Oh wait, I've already talked about Shadetsky, what am I doing? Let's go on to Guest, then. Guest is overrated. That's what I want to say. I would argue he's like third worst person in the entire game, only in front of the 2 survivalists. He has 115 health, which is honestly a lot. It makes him very tanky, but... oh my god. I'm just laughing thinking about it. But the amount of damage you take from missing his first ability block makes the extra health not seem so much more enticing. Let's just go over what his block does anyways. His block, it sucks. I'm just kidding. It's not that bad, but if you have to either hit, you have to usually just hit a melee ability of the killer with yourself as you're blocking, and then you gain your punch, or your parry, depending on what you want to call it. And it also gives you speed for a second, gives the killer slowness for a second, but it's like hardly anything, so it's barely even worth mentioning. You could parry within the first about second or 0.8 seconds of a move, I forget which. And if you do, and you land it, which is much easier said than done, it stuns for 3.5 seconds. So, a very solid stun. And all this on paper sounds like, wow, this character sounds great, I would love to play them, until you realize you have to hit a killer move with it. There's nothing on your end that you can do, really. Aside from maybe, like, prediction, slightly, to make the killer hit you with an ability. It's all up to the killer whether they hit your block or not, and it's just, it's slightly up to you, depending on when you time it. It's overall just not the most consistent move in the game, far from it. it relies mostly on prediction on killer M1s for certain killers, and that's just not very cool. But on actually a lot of the killers, you can reactionarily do it if you're skilled enough, which I am not. If you can tell by how much I'm dissing on this guest. But point is, you can react to a lot of things like 1x John Doe's M1, Millie's M1, sometimes Jason's M1 if you get lucky with the drag, and you can also react to most melee abilities in the game if I'm being honest. But if you just get smacked out of it, you're dead. You are dead. Your other ability, charge, isn't going to help you very much in a one-on-one chase after you've missed a block. It might stall a second, but it's not going to do a whole lot. I guess I should probably talk about charge. Charge, guests more consistent and I'd argue better ability. Its main use case is sending killers down slopes or just like interrupting a chase for a second while they're distracted on someone else. It's mainly used when the killer's low stamina, so you don't get, you know, chased yourself and hit for landing it. But it's very, very hard to react to. It's mainly prediction if you want to try to dodge or punish a charge. And it gives you a resistance for about a second after landing it, so you will not get punished, even if they M1 before you land it. Well, depends, honestly, but you usually don't get it. Yeah, that wraps guest up, and next we have Chance. Talk about Chance. He is overpowered. That's about all I have to say about him. Chance, he relies a lot on luck, which is not a good formula for a character if you hadn't paid any attention. But Chance flips a coin. If he gets 3 heads, he can shoot, reroll, or hat fix. That's his whole shtick. And his main thing that helps his team, his gun, his pew-pew, as it were. It's overpowered. It's a ranged stun, which is very hard to counteract if Chance knows what they're doing. And it also has a decently wide hitbox. It stuns, the more closer you are, the more it stuns. So completely ranged stuns aren't off the table, but they're not as rewarding as medium range stuns. But if you're going for a close range stun, you might as well play stuns at that point. Another good part about Chance's whole shtick is his RNG mechanic with his health. You can spawn with 70 to 90 and can reroll from that to up to 130, which is honestly too much HP. If a Chance gets lucky with the rerolls, which is very stupid to say now that I think about it out loud, because getting lucky shouldn't be inclined to be winning. If you get lucky, you can effectively just win LMS for free if it comes down to it, because your health bar is so enormous that you can just tank a lot of abilities. I don't like Chance very much. And I think there is one last sentinel that I am forgetting. 2-time. I dislike 2-time. If you're starting to see a pattern here, I don't like Forsaken very much as a video game. 2-time has too much going on, really. His dagger has a short wind up, and if it hits your back, you get stunned for 4 seconds, I think. And that is just too long. It also heals him, gives him his oblation meter, and has a lunge attached to it if you use crouch. Or a very tiny one without it. 2-times hold a line is meant to be sneaky, but you're more rewarded for being a nuisance or a pest to the killer rather than actually being stealthy and stuff. You're way better off just trying to annoy the killer into trying to kill you with if you get your oblation meter. And I should probably talk about that ritual / his oblation meter. The oblation meter is whack. I hate it. If 2-times gets 2 backstabs or 3 front stabs, or a backstab and 2 front stabs, I guess, they unlock their oblation meter, which is their second life, which upon death, they only add half the amount on the timer and teleport to the ritual spawn point they set themselves. It's just not very fun to deal with, because the time you get when you kill a survivor is extremely important for a killer to be able to do well. And only getting half, it barely feels rewarding to kill 2-time at all, if I'm being honest. It's just not very fun to fight a 2-time due to their like mostly ping reliant stun, and I just don't like 2-time. 2-time is badly designed. I dislike them heavily. And if I am not mistaken, that is literally everything in the game I can talk about. So thanks for listening or not watching, I guess. And goodbye.